Absolutely. I think the misconception in today's society through X Factor and even programs like yours is that you can get it easily and it can come to you for free and you don't have to work hard at it. Just the other week, I interviewed Gordon Ramsay. People think he's a TV star. That man works 18 hours a day in a kitchen.
Of course he does. But I don't expect people to know that and people to understand that, because that's what the process that I go through to put that 90 minutes on television to entertain you, right? Make a reference, it's like when you're building a car. What goes, the hundreds and thousands of hours that go into building the car, when you buy it, you don't really care about. You just want to know that the product you're buying drives, gets you where you're going safely. So when you sit and watch that TV program, you don't care about the amount of hours that have gone into it. You want to know that you're going to be entertained and you're going to get good quality and it's going to have a result at the end, right? So for these people who think, that's what I mean when I say people are sitting around waiting. Elaine Page told me, in the very beginning bits of my career, she said, do things that make you happy and do them because you want to do them, and don't sit around and wait for people to bring those things to you, because it will not happen. And there was a period in my career before I really kind of kicked myself up the rear end that I was sitting around waiting for. I thought, I'm good enough. Why aren't people bringing things to me? Well, you know what? They won't. And that's the logic that comes about. You got to get up off your butt and you got to work for it. You got to go out and get it. Because if you don't, you're going to, in years to come, you'll look back and you'll regret. And I never want to have a life when I'm sitting in a rocking chair looking back and going, I wish I had.
This is not a leading question, but if you'd have been in Glasgow, do you think you'd be here today?
You say those, I get asked those questions a lot, and those are hypothetical questions that I can't really answer, because I was still wanted to be an entertainer when I was in Glasgow, so I think probably I would have pushed myself to do that because I had parents who were behind me, and they probably would have pushed me to do that because my dad was a businessman and pushed himself. It's not to say that any culture, there are people who, it may happen, it may not happen. That would not be a reflection on Scotland at all, because Scotland is a very, funny enough, I think the Scottish are probably some of the hardest workers that you can, find. There's people who are going to complain about what they're doing, and my philosophy is, if you don't like it, get out. Go find something else to do. But because there's a lot of people who would love to have the job and like to be in that position much more than you then. Everything's different. They work hard on Broadway. They work hard in the West End. I think, it's a difficult thing to compare. And would I be doing this if I'd grown up in Scotland? I don't know. I can't answer that. I really, but I couldn't think of doing anything else.
All right, we're going to come back next and we'll talk in our remaining moments about how you became the man you are today, and what a man you are. We're going to take another piece of music from the album, Another Side. I'll let you choose one this time. What are you enjoying listening to off your own album?
Well, the lead track, which has the video on my website, and also you can watch the making of it, and if you choose to, it's All Out of Love, and it's a song from my childhood in the 80s.
Go on, give us the website. It's really nice to talk to you, and I'll tell you why, because you seem to breathe a breath of fresh air into shows. I think that's why you're invited on so many of them. It seems like the old showbiz ethics of being entertaining and bigger than life seem to have gone with some of our newer, younger stars, maybe of the BB generation. They come to life when the microphone's turned on. I guess you make that your priority, that you're here to entertain when the microphone's on, whether that be on stage, TV, or on the radio.
Absolutely. And you would also, if you were to come on the set of Torchwood or Doctor Who, you would know that I also entertain while I'm there, because I think a happy workplace is a productive workplace. And it's just the philosophy I've got. You know what? I'm not an angsty, maudlin, grumpy person. I joke and say that I get up in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but I'll still get up and jump around. And, as I say to Scott in the morning when we wake up, do the dance. Give me a dance. Let's dance. You know what I mean? So but you have to, and I know everybody doesn't have, I'm fortunate. I'm living my dream. I'm living the things that I always have dreamt about, and I'm so appreciative of it. So why would I get up and be crabby? I do have crabby moments, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I do have those moments I chuck my toys out of the pram, okay? We all have them, but I take a moment after them and I, reevaluate what's gone on and realize how lucky I am. But those moments are usually not because I'm upset about what I'm doing. It's about a situation that I'm in.
You're in a lucky position now that through the TV shows, people have got to know you. You can now go on tour as you. That must be a great thrill that no longer are you in the show, you're in the John Barrowman show.
It's a long show, let me tell you. I've never thought of it that way because I've always, on stage I am a character, on television I am a character, except when I'm playing myself. And okay, let me be totally blunt and honest. I am my product. I'm my business. So if it is the John Barrowman show, I'm going to promote myself. Absolutely. And the only person who is going to promote me is myself, the people who have a vested interest in me, or my mother and father, so that's it. And I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for trying to make myself successful. Why should I? Why should anybody?
And what a thrill it is that you can put tickets on sale with your name and people will come opposed to a show name.
Well, that is remarkable, and that's amazing to me. I mean, the concert tour that I'm doing, when it went on sale prior to the release of the album, the day that it went on sale, which was amazing to me, the promoters called and asked if I'd add dates, because it's selling so well, and that's even before the publicity has even started. So yes, I'm thrilled, absolutely, amazingly thrilled by that. But I still will be part of a show that one day will have the show name on the ticket, and my name will be underneath the title. Well, maybe above it.
Right, we've got to go ever so quick now because we're running out of time. We've got loads of music to fit in. I've got a lot of questions to ask you. So, we're now about 6 years old. We're a bit annoying. How do you then go from that to starring in some of the biggest musicals in the West End?
There's no formula answer I can give you. I knew I wanted to do it when I was in high school. My mother sent me to, I went to a modeling agency. I learned how to hold myself poised and blah, 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 which was rubbish. And then I went to study. I decided to go off to a place called Opryland, USA, and that's where I got my kind of formidable training in a sense. And I also did all my community theater stuff. Amateur dramatics, I think, are a big thing for people to learn. So I love that there are amateur dramatic companies out there doing shows and productions, because you know what? You have stars in your productions that one day could be big. And I did that in my hometown. My one of my very close friends, Beverly Holt, who was my musical director for my cabaret stuff, she said, "John, you have to do the rubbish shows to know which are the good ones."
Did you always stick out even in those days, in the beginning, that your work ethic, your dedication, did teachers say to you, did you have stuff written about you that you tried harder than the rest? Because I can't believe you could be here today if you didn't.
No, I'll be honest with you. That would be a correct statement, because my report cards always said something like that. But I'll be honest with you, I failed math, I failed geometry. I was not interested in those subjects. And the one thing that I love seeing at the moment, there's a lot of this push again to get people into programs where they're being trained for specific crafts. And I do believe in that, because I don't think every child is a university student. I don't think that's for everybody. I went to university, but I didn't like it until I found that I wanted to be in music, and I really committed to that in music and theater. Then I was happier. But in high school, hated all my other subjects. I was an okay student. In America, they do it A and B, C, D, and F, right? I was always in the B category because I flunked maybe one or two subjects because I just hated them. What use was geometry going to be to me when I'm singing a fabulous 11 o'clock number?
And that is the sad thing about America. My cousin was brilliant at sports, but if you don't achieve a certain academic level, they don't let you do sports. Well, a guy who's going to be brilliant at American football isn't necessarily going to be any good at maths.
Exactly, but I don't want teachers getting down on me, because my brother-in-law and my sister are obviously professors and doctorates in universities. Education is important, but what I'll say is higher education is not always for everybody. So I'm a firm believer in having apprenticeships, having work programs for young people to go to. And if your child shows any inkling, whether it's carpentry, plumbing, avionics, or musical theater, at a certain age, push them in that direction.
Academics is all right, maths is great, but being fabulous is more important.
No. I know you want me to say yes to that.
on. Let's
move on from that one.
I just want to talk about some of the productions you've been in. Miss Saigon, for example, to me is one of the anthemic musicals of our generation.
Yeah.
Les Mis is there as well.
Yeah.
Was there a dream role that you always looked at getting, and have you already achieved it, or is it still there to be got?
There was never a dream role that I looked at getting. Well, I'll tell you a situation. This is a snippet from the book. I was in my bedroom with my high school mate, a girl named Laura Sales, and we were listening to the musical as it just been released, Phantom of the Opera, and she said to me, "John, what do you want to do for the rest of your life?" And I said, "Laura, one of my big dreams would be to work for someone like Cameron McIntosh or Andrew Lloyd Webber in a show like that." And 4 years later, I was in Phantom of the Opera in the West End. So I have goals, I have dreams. I've done Miss Saigon. I've done most of the big musicals. I've done them both here and on Broadway. So I have goals and I have aspirations. I still do. I don't tell people what they are, but in my little book, when I achieve them, it's such a thrill. It is such a thrill.
I presume your biggest difficulty now is that you're in that wonderful position where you're able to say no.
Yes.
Which is completely unique in this business.
Yeah.
There must be things on Broadway, even in Las Vegas now. There's some amazing shows that you could go in. Presumably you haven't got the time with the commitments with the TV stuff.
I would love to do Vegas. I think Vegas would be great. Yeah, there's things that I say no to. I was offered approximately 7 West End shows last year. I was offered 4 Broadway just in 1 week. And I've had to turn them down. Had to because I have commitments with Torchwood and with Doctor Who, which I have no qualms about. You know what I mean? But I say this on the radio now, I will return to the West End or to musicals because it is my first love and I will do one. It might be a little while from now, but I will be back. I'll be back.
I suppose that's a real difficulty of show business, isn't it? Where you're at the point now where you're too busy to turn down stuff that maybe 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or certainly 10 years ago, you would have only dreamed of doing.
Exactly, but that's what life is all about. When you're wanting to get to your position of if it's success or prosperity or whatever, to make your company work as the best you could, you do everything you possibly can to get there. And then when you get there, then you can sit back and relax a little more.
We've had quite a lot of new musicals come in recently with Wicked. We've got Spamalot now and Hairspray just opened with Michael Ball, which are all brilliant, actually.
Yes.
Do you have your eye on something that when you've got time, you really want to do? Is there one of those roles Michael said that he really wanted to play a woman in a frock?
We all have dreams. We all have aspirations, and as quirky as they may be, I can kind of relate with Michael. They're already doing the show, and Philip Quast is going to be in it, but I would love to have done La Cage. Now, whichever role, I would probably have ended up playing, I think it's Ibert, the more masculine one of and I'm not making any judgment on myself because of that, but the one I wanted to play would be the one who performs in the nightclub in the frock, because it's something different, something fun. There are other roles that I have my eye on, and I just can say to you right now, I have had a discussion with 2 very big prominent West End musical theater producers, one of them who is a composer and the other one who is the same as a raincoat.
Yeah, let me think. Who could that be?
In fact, I'm going to have a meeting with Cameron in the next couple of days to discuss something. So that's why I'm saying things are in the pipeline and I will be doing something. I don't know what it is. Well, I do, but I'm not going to say.
You're in the movie of The Producers, which I just thought was absolutely tremendous. It's always been my favourite musical just because of the comedy in it. Outrageous, but still funny.
Yes.
And there aren't many musicals that come around like that have so much effort put into them and such dedication.
No, and it's funny because there's very few musicals come around, but I like to, I say thank you. There's 2 guys in Los Angeles, Neil Zayden and Craig Zayden, and Neil Marin, who they started by doing Sunday night, with Disney and ABC in America. They started doing these musicals. They did Gypsy, they did Mrs. Santa Claus, they did loads of stuff on television. Then they moved into the movie element of it, and they did Hairspray, the film. So they brought back kind of the resurgence of movie musicals in a sense that paved the way for movies like The Producers, like Chicago. I think actually they were also involved with Chicago. So it's taking the right show and making it work, because some would say The Producers was a success in the element of its production, but not a box office success. But Chicago, on the other hand, was a huge box office success. So it's a give and take kind of thing. And, the Cole Porter biopic that I did, I'm just happy to be involved with them. That was a dream, watching Fred and Ginger, one day wanting to be part of movie musicals.
Very finally, let's talk about Torchwood. It's just great, isn't it, to be part of the most successful franchise on TV at the moment?
Yeah. I mean, I can't. There's words that can't describe it. Every day, I wake up and when I go to work, I've said before, I get to, travel in time or be in the TARDIS or fight an alien or save the planet. Who else gets to do that every day on their job except myself, Captain Jack and the Doctor. And the fact that I'm one of the buddies of one of the most iconic British figures, being the Doctor, and now Captain Jack himself has become iconic. And the ironic thing is that, Torchwood is the most successful and the highest rated show on BBC America in the US. So worldwide, it's becoming a huge success. Big success in its science fiction world. I can't complain. It's amazing, and it's to have children come up to me, and I'll be driving my car, and I can see the kids will recognize me and say, "It's Captain Jack," and I love that. I think that's absolutely spectacular.
And you get a thrill when you see all the merchandising, not just because you might get some money out of it, but when you see yourself in a little 8-inch form.
One of my biggest thrills was to see my 8-inch form. That was one of the biggest moments for me, because as a kid, I played with Action Men. I played with G.I. Joe. I played with little figures and dolls, and stuff like that. I have no qualms in saying I did have a Barbie and a Cindy along with Action Man. My mother was very diverse, so I
it's all her fault, isn't it? Really?
No, I feel someone said, actually we did a thing where we actually figured out it was my dad's fault. Not for why you're thinking. Let's not go there. No, I'm joking. We when I saw the doll, and I had to approve all the molds and things like that, I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. And to see myself in books, I go into a bookstore and I open up a book, or there's a picture of Captain Jack on the front of a book. I mean, I used to get annuals as a kid, Christmas annuals, the Doctor Who Christmas annual. I now get the Doctor Who Christmas annuals for my niece and nephew, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
And that's just, I cannot describe to you the feeling it gives me.
There is a certain element of luck and serendipity with this business. You're only as good as the production you're in. You can be the best star in the world, but if you're in a flop, it's going to fail.
I've been in quite a few flops, and I don't dwell on them. I move on from it because, like I said earlier, like we're going back, there's 5 or 6 of those big defining moments in your career that will happen to you. And Doctor Who and Torchwood are, 2 of those defining moments. And you have to have a good team around you. You have to, in a sense, spend money to get the quality and get it back. And if you don't, it's going to show.
I don't know whether you heard, I'm slightly psychic. I sense from the feeling I'm getting from you that you're feeling that this last hour has been a bit of a flop.
This has been a major success. And, I think everybody listening will think it's been a success.
All right, let's go shopping. Okay, so here we go. We've got the CD we've got to promote. So another side, John Barrowman's new CD is in the stores now. Okay, we've got the John Barrowman Brussels Sprouts there in Sainsbury's. We've got the John Barrowman book, which is out in February. You're in Panto in Birmingham.
Yes.
I interviewed you in the summer in your outfit. Just tremendous. I would go out shopping in the Bullring like that. And they'll love you.
Just you wait till I'm in Birmingham. But all the people who are listening in Birmingham at the moment, I know you are, because I know this is playing on one of your biggest radio stations. Please, if you see me, come and say hello. I definitely am looking forward to my Christmas in Birmingham. I can't wait. Really,
it's a whopping theatre as well. I think it's regarded as the biggest panto in the country.
It is the biggest pantomime in the country. We will have 3D imagery. We will have a genie that will be 3D in front of you. You'll be able to interact, basically like, rub the 3D lamp. You'll be able to, you will see Daleks on stage. We have everything.
So we got the book, the CD, the pantomime.
Yes.
Anything else I need to plug for you?
Oh, yeah. There's another show on BBC One primetime Saturday night coming out called The Kids Are All Right, which is a light entertainment show that will be on Saturday evenings where the adults compete against children, and it should be quite a good laugh and fun.